Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the ATM podcast with me, Jim Jefferies. I'm here with Amos Gill. Hey, Gilly, let's get our press out of the way. What shows you got coming up?
Hey, come see me in Toronto this Friday, Saturday at the Comedy Bar.
Love Toronto, one of my favourite cities in the world.
Only a few tickets left. Excited about that. Coming back after your big tour.
Yep.
I picked up your stragglers.
Yep.
So I'll see you guys there. And where are you going to be, Jim?
I'm going to be this Friday night. Is it this Friday or Saturday, Jack? Saturday or Friday? Friday? Saturday. This Saturday night, I'm going to be in Dubai in the Coca-Cola Arena. So that's something.
Look at this. Donald Trump goes over to the Middle East. He starts taking that oil dollar, and Jefferies is straight over there.
I'm over there. Okay. I'll be there. Thank you, everyone. Oh, these buildings were built with good labourers who got paid appropriately. No, I'm going over to Dubai. I'm looking forward to the show. I had a really good time at the Dubai Comedy Festival a couple of years back, or a year and a half ago or something. It was a really great show. They've put me into a massive room, so there are still tickets available.
Yeah, room for you and your bird.
Yeah, it's massive.
And by that I mean your falcon.
Massive. We've got a couple of thousand already coming, but I mean, there's still seats. Don't worry about this in the arena. And then when I'm coming back, I'm in St. Petersburg and Orlando, and those shows will sell out. They're very close to sold out. So if you want to come and see me in Florida, come and see that. And then after that,
June 1st.
Huh? June 1st, Kansas City. What's that for? Oh, for Dr. Phil. Yeah, but he has to sell those tickets. I'm not in charge of selling the... I'll be doing the Dr. Phil show with Adam Ray June 1st. But I hear that they sell out like hotcakes. People love those shows, right? So I'll be doing those. Also, I've got Hawaii coming up. If you're in Hawaii, when, Jack? I'm going to Maui.
July 25 and July 26th.
July 25th and July 25th.
We're a slick production.
There we go. I'll be in Hawaii. Anyway, let's start the show.
Whoa! What about me coming to Tacoma? And
I thought all you had was a show in Toronto, and then you were retiring.
I'm actually quitting after Spokane and Tacoma, which is next weekend.
Are you going to go back on the gondolas in Spokane?
No, I'm not. Once was enough for me.
You can't do it by yourself, can you?
No,
if you bring the missus, you'll go. It's a bit of romance.
If you go on the gondola in Spokane, they think you're jumping. There's no doubt about that. You're not allowed legally to go on there. Hey,
come for the suicide, stay for the view.
I'm wearing a Tottenham jersey this week because we're playing Man United in the Europa League. Last week, Jim wore a Bears jersey because his beloved Bears have made a comeback.
The North Sydney Bears are now the Perth Bears.
I saw a really funny story over the weekend that I thought I'd surprise you with this, but you'd seen it.
It's been sent to me many times.
Yeah, so let's have a roll with this. So the Bears have relocated to Western Australia.
Yeah, to Perth. Most isolated city in the world.
Not just an isolated city, but also having spent a lot of time there. Anyone who listened to the YMCA episode will notice I went to a lot of gay bars when I was there. There's so many gay clubs in Perth. Big
gay community down in Northbridge there in Perth. Yep. Yeah, you can see the gays.
So what's one of the subsections of gays? The
bears.
The bears.
The bears. I actually fluctuate my weight. I become a bear, and then I go back from being a bear. My friend Forrest, our friend Forrest, he's a bear. He's what a bear would be.
He's in hibernation at the minute.
He would be your quintessential bear if he was gay.
Yeah, and listen, there's a group over there for bears because it's a very masculine place. A lot of fly-in, fly-out workers.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's the hub of gay bears in Australia because
there's a lot of them that travel outside and work in the mine. They work with the miners.
Yeah, the big brutes.
But that's working in the mine, not just working with the miners. I don't want to disparage anyone.
So when obviously all these fans from Western Australia who don't know anything about, all these fans of the original Bears, like you from Sydney, don't know anything about WA Bears, and so they've been Googling and Facebooking Perth Bears, and some of them have been ending up in the wrong places, and that is the Perth Bear Gay Society. And have a listen to this news report from Australia.
This is a great mix-up. I love this story. The rugby league club going to WA is called the Perth Bears, but there is a gay social club in WA called Bears Perth, and they're saying, hey, we don't want any mix-ups. We are not associated with the newly announced NRL club called the Perth Bears. Please do not sign up for membership here if you're trying to join the rugby league club. Kingsley Dawes is the president of Bears Perth.
Hello, Ben. How you going, mate?
I don't know, mate. I don't know whether you're joking or whether you're serious, but I just love it.
It's been weird because we got like 15 or 20 membership applicants from out of state, which we hardly ever get stuff from out of state, right? So we got all these memberships, and then we had to call them up and say, you do realise we are not the rugby club. Our clubhouse is next door to HBF Park.
So if you wanted to, you could go and watch the Perth Bears, and then you could drop into the Bears Perth on the way home.
Yep. And look, we'd be happy to have visitors, you know.
Not all
we
visitors.
welcome everybody.
You've got another ad online for the Bears big pool party. Imagine getting some of the rugby league players to drop in for a dip.
Well, yes. Feel free to give any of them my phone number, and we can sort that out.
Isn't that nice at the end? Gay guys can always make jokes like that. I can sort them out.
Yeah.
Bring them over the pool, get them undressed. As a heterosexual, you can never go. And there's a group of girls that are doing something. Give them my phone number. Get them naked, get them in the pool.
Yeah, the girls that have come over for the Taylor Swift concert and have gotten lost, we'll welcome them to the social club.
Yeah. I work with the Swift Mop Company, and there's been a lot of confusion.
Yeah, my products are called the Swifties. We're a courier company because we get you there swift, and all these young girls have turned up. But we were actually having a staff barbecue. We said, "Girls, get your shirts off. It's hot."
Yeah. And we're doing an event called Pulling a Swiftie.
So there you go, mate. The Perth Bears have.
Basically,
they've got to defend their own turf.
Look, I like that about the gays. They always have a good sense of humour about things like this, you know. So I don't think that guy's offended in any way. And 15 memberships from out of state. That's bad news for the Perth Bears.
Yeah.
I thought they'd get hundreds.
I did think this was. I thought it was going to be thousands of
When
people.
he said, we've had 15 to 20 membership applications.
What if it doesn't?
And that was
take-
just Jim Jefferies doing it 10 times because he didn't think it worked the first time.
What if it doesn't?
And then
take
some guy
over there,
called
dude?
Jack Hackett sent about another 5.
At Gmail.
Don't tell the public.
That is it, isn't it? I had to send Jack something yesterday. Sorry about that. It would be interesting if it just doesn't work over there and they do rely heavily on making it a sort of a gay football franchise for the Bears.
I would love it if it was a gay fan. If there was like the fan was just the fan base was just gay big men.
If you know what it would essentially be, it'd be like the way that straight men used to watch the lingerie league. It would be gay men go and watch the rugby because that's what they're after.
I always thought the gay guys liked the AFL more than the rugby league because of the little shorts. Right. The Warwick Kappa of us all. You know what I mean? Like, if you haven't watched AFL, the Australian sport of AFL, which is Amos's original sport, the outfits are a sleeveless top with very, very small shorts.
Extremely short shorts.
A smaller pair of shorts that you can allow.
It was funny because when I grew up...
Testicle hanging out shorts.
Yeah, you used to just wear jocks, like just regular underwear.
Yeah.
And only in about 2007-8 did they bring in skins where you wear like the tights. But before that, you would just see football players' cocks come out on a tackle.
Really?
And it was just like, you'd be like, I remember watching footy and they'd be like, oh, Mark Rashudo's agates have come out the side there. It was just something that was in a game.
I remember seeing like them all come, the coaches come in at the end of a half or something. They've all kneeled down. And I remember one of the professional players just pissing out the pan of his leg.
That used to happen.
Just in the middle of the field.
Just a little trickle down.
Yeah, just pissing out the side. Just, I'll get this done now. I won't interrupt the coach in his conversation.
Well, I want to go from those Bears to these Bears. I've been searching the internet a lot lately.
Hang on, do you think those Bears will support the Bears?
I think they'd be crazy if they didn't try and do a...
Because Australia does something that I've always found a little bit pathetic.
What's that?
If you look behind an AFL goal, what have you got?
You've got a cheer squad that holds pom-poms.
Yeah, like regular punters will bring pom-poms and big like signs, and they do it on the hill at rugby league as well, right? So there'd be people that hold up signs that say red and black attack and go with the flow with Florimo and stuff like that.
And then they write a special message on crepe paper and the boys run through it
while
the song
boys run
plays.
through it. Yeah, they go. And it's always a song that's a jaunty song that sounds like it's from Old England. And they are Geelong team from the Geelong da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-ba-bum-bum-bum.
Go boys!
Yeah, like that.
It is extremely... Footy fandom is very gay in Australia.
And it's a whole lot of tissue paper that's stuck together. It's like A4 sheets of paper that are all stuck together. And then they'll say, it's such and such's 100th game for the club. Come on out, Macca. And then he'll jump through, dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. Come on, boys, kick us goal. And there'll always be, there's a lot of, how do I put this politely? There's a lot of simple-minded folk behind the goal.
Who go to every game.
Who go to, with very large flags.
They wear the
that wave
badges
it
of
around.
every player.
Yeah, every player. And then they'll have a sign that says something. I'm looking forward to the Perth Bears having one bloke who's a simple-minded gay fella that's just holding up a sign going, Bears for Bears.
To be honest, even the bear blokes might end up going to that, and it's too twink for them.
Yeah. Bear for Bears? I'm a bear. Bears for Bears.
Yeah, they're into more leather stuff. They're not
And it's
into
always
crepe
so weird because
paper.
I remember being a kid and sitting behind those people. Don't put up your gigantic fucking... This isn't a little flag. This is the type of, like a big... We're talking 15 metres by 10 metres. And it'd be four people hold it up.
One of the first jokes I ever did in stand-up, if I remember correctly, was the bit was that I was my school's first ever football captain and theatre captain duo. And the joke used to be, that's why I wanted to win games more than anyone, because if you win, you get to sing a song at the end.
Yeah.
And I'd go, it's a grand old flag, it's a high-flying flag.
Women called you a double unthreatening.
And like, if you sing with a little too much gusto, it is off-putting.
What do you think my whole childhood, mate. My whole child. Oh, okay, before we get
Boys,
to
put some fucking effort in, you
before
flat.
Before we get talking, I'm about to go to a funeral. I just want to give a shout out quickly to my mother-in-law who's giving a hard time, Becca. I love you to bits. Sadly, my father-in-law, Derek, had passed away suddenly, and my wife's going through all that. And I just want to, on the record, just say to Becca and the Dan Raj family, my heart's there for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, and Derek's going to be missed.
Yes, Derek was a great fella. I only spent one Christmas with him.
A nice fella. He good sense of his favourite comedian was Fluffy, and that was just a recent thing, right? Just a recent thing. And what happened was he went to Mexico, and then some Mexican. He used to holiday by himself, just travel around the world, just go off to different countries. Right. He liked to see places, right? And so in his mid-60s, off he goes to Mexico, wanders around by himself, just eating food and just drinking and stuff, right? And he said, I met these blokes. And he goes, they introduced me to a bloke called Fluffy, right? And he goes, oh, he's good. Now, me and Gabriel Iglesias are friends. I've even opened for Fluffy in an infamous moment. I'm stuttering a lot this week. And I said, oh, I'm friends with Fluffy. And my father-in-law went, oh, get off it. Come on. You don't know Fluffy.
Is that when he really started to have a deep respect for you, is it?
Yeah, and one of the last things I was going to do for him, next time I saw Fluffy, I was going to get a video message to send to Derek from Fluffy. I was going to do the camera of me and then, pan out to Fluffy. Because he's like, he does good. He does good. He pulls faces, doesn't he? He does, like, his mum has a little squidgy face like this, and his dad had big eyes like that. So he didn't even know when his dad was performing, his mum was performing. It's just the face. You should do that more. And I'm like, yeah, I try to do that. I try to do different faces.
I was talking to your wife the other day in the green room right before we did your special, and she's gone home for the funeral and whatnot. And that's one thing you and your wife have in common is we're away from our family in different countries. And I will say when Derek died, you do think about that when you've got your dad left.
Yep.
But you're like, it does come at a tax, doesn't it, to leave your country of origin to come to another place. You do at times like this, you do feel a little disconnected. Made me message my dad, and I was like, hey, how you going, fella?
Well, I'll tell you what the airlines.
He wasn't that old.
No, he wasn't that old. It wasn't that old. It was very sudden. And the airlines are very sympathetic. You ring them up like this. I need a plane ticket out today. Like I had to get my wife out right away. Right, I'm following a bit later, but I had to get my wife there right away. Right, and so I'm like, I need a plane ticket. There's been a bereavement in the family like this, and they're going, we're so sorry to hear about your tragic loss, and that ticket will be $27,000. And you're like, what?
First class only.
I sent my wife on business.
Of course you can't.
I'm not a fucking.
You can't go to your wife. I'm so sorry about the loss, and could you take our toddler? On Frontier, then through Hawaii. Then there's a stopover. We got you a real cheap flight. You've just got to stop over in the Donbass region of the Ukraine.
Yeah. You're going to be going on economy, and then because I'm Diamond Medallion, I'll be upgraded to business. I'll see you later. No, I can't. I couldn't do it, right? But the airlines fucking raped me, man. They were like, no, the 2 tickets be $27,000.
That was funny when you were on the phone to me, though, and you guys told me the horrible news. You even then, which is just such an Aussie dad thing of you, you're like, poor Tazy, it's bloody tough. It took you about 12 seconds before you went, fucking getting killed by the airlines.
I couldn't get over it. That was each ticket. It was. I spent like 40 grand. It was. Anyway, I'm not. That's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. Not what it's about. I got money. This is what money's for. You know.
Mate, if you gave the eulogy.
So now my mother-in-law's listening, and she's like, "That cheap bastard." That cheap bastard.
And at Derek's funeral, there will be a wishing well for Jim to recover some of the costs.
No, I by the time this podcast comes out, I'll already be back from the funeral. I got Jack House sitting for me. So that's always fun. He has to feed the cats. Do the cats bond with you while you're here, Jack?
They do.
They do, yeah. There's a funny thing because I spent a couple of nights here by myself because my wife has already left, right? Because I had to do some work stuff. And the cats ignore me all the time. It's like my wife is the only person that exists. Fickle creatures. Now they love me. They all slept with me last night. I woke up with one of them licking my head. Maybe I should
Well, they
feed
do.
them.
They do find the leader of the pack, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's whoever feeds them.
And then you're out.
And then you're nothing. Then they're eating your face when you're dead. Sad, really. Life.
Anyway, Derek, he was a good guy. He had a good sense of humour. He had a heart of gold, and I'm sorry to see him go.
Yes. Condolences. I'm just still recovering from the gear change we went from. We were just talking about gay dudes getting fucked at the rugby, and then you were like, my father-in-law died.
That's what
I've got some inertia emotionally.
I didn't tell you how he died.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway. All right. So on to the next thing.
That's why he liked Fluffy. It's
Like,
big guys.
I don't mind that as a joke, but don't make it a clip, Jack.
Yeah.
But he liked Fluffy, and I'm very sad I didn't get the Fluffy clip for him.
Can I say, so you're living here for before you go away, you've been here by yourself, first time in a while.
Yeah.
This was the last time that you were at home by yourself. In your own
Well,
home.
but this is the whole thing. I spend so much time alone in hotel rooms
Yes.
that I have enough carefree wanks to last me the rest of my life, right? With the volume up, just going for it in hotel rooms. I had one last night in my house. What a delight.
Yeah,
What a delight.
You really feel like the mortgage was worth it then?
What a delight. But the thing that is not good about it is just straight onto the sheets, because it's like, I don't have a maid here who's...
You gator roll.
But the cleaners are here today, so I've got to keep quiet.
Dude, this is so depressing. You've just told me you've jizzed all over the seats. I can see your cleaner currently 2 rooms away from the absolute horror that is waiting.
That was last night. It's not like it's not going to.
This is a man who constantly brags. My cum dries completely clear.
No, you don't see the stain, but it will make sheets stick together. It will be hard to pull that apart.
So you've said, I see you've got, you got a cleaner. You're doing far better than I.
I've got a cleaner once a week. That's not like.
I'm not here to attack you. I'm just saying
My dad's on a pension.
Yeah.
Right, refuses to get any money from me. I always offer him money. I once said to him, I said, Dad, how about I just give you $100,000 and then you can have that money and leave it to me in your will. If you got something left, I don't care, right? But just have it so that you can buy whatever food you want, whatever. And he goes, I've got some money. Your money in the bank. He goes, and he looked at me like I was a bitch and just went like this. He goes, I tell you what, mate, if I'm ever short of $100,000, I'll call you.
He's got a big super account, that man.
Well, he doesn't have. No, he doesn't.
No,
He just lives off
but
his
he's
pension.
not-
But my father lives on an oily rag, mate.
Yeah.
He's got like some money left, and but he's old, so he goes, I live like a millionaire.
Well, you did give him a car, which he cut the front seat out of so he could turn a sedan into
the back
a slip.
seat.
The
He put the back seat down. He folded the back seat down. Okay, this is the story, right? So my father, during COVID, was getting a bit stir crazy. He lived with his dog. The dog's now dead, right? The dog was a very placid old dog that used to just sit there, right? So my dad thought to himself, none of the hotels were taking people and all this type of stuff, and you weren't meant to travel and you meant to stay at home. And he goes, but he got stir crazy and he decided, at his age, there were cities in Australia he hadn't seen. He's obsessed with seeing every town in Australia, right? So he goes, I'll get in the Mercedes. Right, Mercedes had back seats that folded down, right? And I'll drive around Australia. And what he did was he cut out a chunk of foam, right, to fit the boot, to fit the trunk, so that his legs would be he would be in the trunk, His head would be in the trunk, so it's nice and dark. His legs would be darting out into the back seats, right? And the dog would sleep there with him, next to him, right?
Yeah.
Now, before he sent it on the... Which would be boiling hot. You would die. An 80-year-old man.
But a Mercedes-Benz that's like carved out, the foam cut out. It looks like something you see in like a Middle Eastern war zone, like an old Mercedes that's used as an ambulance makeshift on the battlefield.
Yeah, it's just got a trunk. This isn't a hatchback.
Yeah, I know.
This is a straight-up trunk, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, so I figured this out. Now, he didn't tell me he was doing this. My brother discovered him in the garage, thought he'd committed suicide in the back of the car. Right? Just saw his legs dangling out the back of the car. The garage is shut, right? And he goes, oh my God, my brother the cop, right? He opens the door and then Dad wakes up, hits his head into the trunk. And he goes, I'm just going to travel around Australia in the back of the Mercedes, sleeping in the back. And I was just giving it a dry run.
Could you imagine anyone in a rest stop who saw that would be like, he's dead?
The dog was there with him. The dog was asleep there with him.
Yeah, although... better than any car I've ever seen on exhibit. It actually works. You know, Pimp My Ride. They always put stupid speakers in. At least your dad's is practical.
Mate, he's kept that car.
Is he still using it?
That car's as new. I bought that car for him 15 years ago. It's as new. It's as new. Well, I know. I didn't buy it 15. I bought it. Kate was pregnant with Hank, so 12, 13 years ago.
So, nonetheless, what I was saying to you before we went into money was, I imagine you don't have to worry about your sheets because you have succeeded far more than I in your career, and you deserve to not.
You
do
don't
sheets.
wash your sheets?
No, this is a fight I'm having at home. I wanted to pick your brain on this one.
Yeah, okay.
So my girlfriend is OCD.
She's in the right.
Yeah, to the maximum. Okay. Now I think cleanliness of a home is probably the biggest couple dispute most ordinary people have.
I've told you, I used to think I got better at relationships, right? As I've gotten older, I've gotten better at relationships. I know how to deal with women now. When I was young, I was always angry and fighting and stuff like that.
Yes.
And as I get older, I'm better and better. Nah, the houses have gotten bigger. That's all it is. When you're in a one-bedroom apartment, it's a war zone.
Yeah,
it's a war zone. As time goes on, you go off to that room and calm down. She calms down. Then you come together. I'm sorry for the mean things I said. I'm sorry. I love you too. And
We look back and go, I found my soulmate. It's like your soulmate was actually probably when you were 20 and you guys lived in a studio apartment with no money together. You were willing to tolerate each other for even a year in that environment.
Oh,
incredible, dude!
Well, anyone who lasted COVID in a studio with another person, marry that person.
Set for life.
That's
so.
life.
So my girlfriend's uber clean.
Yes.
Like, for instance, before she goes to bed every night, even if she's already had a shower and she's walked around the apartment to get a cup of tea, she goes into the bathroom and washes her feet because she's like, I need clean feet on the sheets. Okay. And every time I hear the tap run, I'm like, you're fucking weird. Okay. She does the sheets 3 times a week. 3 times a week she washes the sheets.
Well, I get my sheets done once a week with a cleaner.
She does it 3 times a week.
Once a week.
She'll be like, it's dirty. I don't want to sleep on it. It's dirty. Now, okay. That's great. It's good for me because I get to sleep on the fresh sheets. Recently, though, she's like, I need you to make the bed. And it's my least favorite thing in the fucking world.
Well, why is it so hard? They should be able to invent something to fit fitted sheets. There should be some tool where you can just slip it on right away because you get 3 corners in that one corner and then you have to duck it down.
Springs up.
I have psoriasis on my knuckles and I have to go between the bed sheet and the thing and it always flares it up.
And I know I'm pathetic for how much I bitch about it, but there is no job I hate more. And it's got to the point with her now where she'll say, can you just do the sheets while I'm off at the office? I'm working, you're at home doing nothing. And I go, nah, your OCD causes this problem. I will sleep on bed sheets for a month without changing them. Yeah. If you want to have the sheets regularly flipped over, I'm sorry, that is going to be on you. I
actually agree with that. But it would be reasonable if I believe bed sheets can last 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Right.
I think a Sunday changeover is probably good. Once a week.
But I think they can last 2 weeks. Yes. I think you should change them weekly. I think that 2 weeks is in the realm of you're not a disgusting human being. If anyone's listening at home, I have done far worse.
Oh, yeah.
I think back to my 20s and the women who came back to my apartment to sleep on those sheets, God bless them. They should be able to march on Anzac Day. I mean, they've been to war.
All I can say to you, mate, is what sheets? Because when I was just back home for the Adelaide Fringe, the missus came to visit me. I slept
on the raw mattress.
Just mattress.
Yeah, I've done that. The raw mattress.
I had just mattress and quilt.
Yeah,
and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
This is what I always want to tell to women. For all the shit I've gotten for like, oh, you're mean to ladies. My love of women is so high that I am willing to Think about the hotel.
Not sleep on sheets.
Think about the.
Where are you heading with this?
What I'm saying
you
is-
said at the Adelaide Comedy Festival, I was sleeping on
Yes.
with no sheets because of my love for women is so high.
Yes, because once you get a woman involved, so the way I treat myself is trash.
Yes.
If I'm staying in a hotel, I will stay in a $40 mattress on the floor in a crack den because I go, what do I fucking care? I'm sleeping, I'm up, I move. The moment a girl joins the trip, you're like, well, I can't put my woman in a place like this. So you've got to buy a nice hotel. You've got to buy nice sheets.
Okay.
Everything has to be nice because you actually respect women more than you respect yourself.
Here's the thing. My wife cost me so much more. Okay. Even when I'm traveling and doing, even like, we just recorded a special in Chicago, right? Which is coming out in August and we'll talk about that later, right? Even when I'm doing, I stayed in a basic hotel room. I just stayed in a basic hotel room. I don't need a suite. All I need is a bed and a telly and a nice toilet and a shower, right? Off to go. My wife, however, who I earn more of the money than she does, right?
Yes.
My wife, however, she can't do it. And I think she'll hate me saying this, and she is bereaved right now. She is very upset right now.
She should be staying in the nicest suite to grieve.
No, the good thing about this is she's in mourning right now, so she won't listen to this podcast. I'll get away with this one. All right, so my wife can't shit within a certain proximity of me, right? Whereupon, like, if she needs to go have a shit and I'm at a hotel, I have to go for a walk. And then I go for a walk for 20 minutes. I go get myself some maybe breakfast or whatever. I come back, and then she's like this, oh, I didn't do it because I was worried you were going to come back. I don't know why she sounded like my mother then, but anyway, right? So I've started I have to have suites with 2 toilets. So we have to have 3 doors. We have to have the bedroom door, the other door.
Mate, that's amazing that she can even do that. Annika has gone over 2 weeks many times and taken no shit when we're on a vacation.
What is wrong with these people?
I know, because I even say to her, I go, listen, I'm burping, I'm farting in a ridiculously despicable manner. You can have a shit quietly, but then again, she burped yesterday, and I said, yuck. So it could be on me. I might be part of the problem.
Look, honey, my wife, I'll lick down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're good.
We're in an era where men are talking about eating ass and women are like, I can't take a shit within 5 meters.
Exactly. That's when you can't take a shit. When I'm going down and no shits then. That's the only time.
It's firm
That's the
policy.
only time. That's my only policy on you shitting. The only one.
Just not on.
I mean, I don't want to go into eating ass because it's all anyone talks about in America.
I talk to my wife daily about my hemorrhoids. Oh, they're bloody rough today. Oh, that was a bad one. Oh, they've gone. Oh, a bit better today. My hemorrhoid report is like the weather in this house.
I'm 100% the same. I'm like, Annika, it's 74 outside and there wasn't blood on the toilet paper. It's a hell of a day. It's a hell of a... And she's so supportive. She brings me creams.
We're going to see a bad area down here. Expect a lot of problems down here.
Some spotting.
We will see some relief in the evening.
Yeah, she buys me all sorts of creams, but she will not... She simply will not
They
go to
won't.
the bathroom.
Oh, I didn't know that you had the same issue.
No, dude.
No,
but like it also ruins the trip because she's constantly got a sore stomach.
This is the thing. She won't do it, and I hear about it. Like hearing about you not shitting is worse than you shitting.
I've said to
if
Annika,
you shit and there's a smell of shit in the house, I'll get over that very quickly. But mind you, then
I would rather real diarrhea to the verbal diarrhea.
But do you do what I do? Like, it's okay. You can shit in front. I don't give a fuck. You're allowed to shit. You're allowed to shit. I'll go for a walk. All right. I'm going to go off and I'll go. I remember one time I went to Dairy Cream and I'm eating one of those blizzards, right? And I've walked back into the house and I've gone like this. Bloody hell, the place smells like shit. What am I doing? What am I doing? This girl has struggled. She did what? And I'm only joking. I couldn't even smell the fucking shit.
I was like a fucking piggery in here.
All right, so I record the special in Chicago. It went really well. It's coming out August.
Here comes the segue.
I don't think I could. No, there is a segue. I don't think I can go the full thing. Now there is a routine that you've seen me do many times, which is about me wearing. I'm not going to say the punchline, but the joke is about me wearing a mask of my own face, and I go through all this. I'm about to have sex with a girl. I'm wearing a mask of my own face.
Very Jungian.
Yeah, and I do a dance and I play with my penis and I talk about what language she spoke, and it's a 5-minute routine, right? Maybe 4-minute routine, right? Anyway, I won't do the routine, but I needed to shit the whole time. Now, if you watch my special Intolerant, I talk about a moment that when you get home and you need to shit and you're putting the key in the door where your body goes, we've made it, and then you have to run that last little bit. Right? It's not a coincidence. Your ass has its own brain. It has its own timing. It knows when. It's like Pavlovian. Oh, the door's open. We're going to the toilet. And then just lets your bowels go, right? So I needed to shit from the moment I got on stage the other day, right? I walked on stage and was like, my ass went blub, 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 blub. And I was like, God, I've got an hour and a half of stand-up to do. Try not to think about it, try not to sit about it. Didn't sit on the edge of the stage too much because I didn't want to.
You stayed quite stationary.
Yeah, I stayed quite stationary. I ran around like this. I get to the final joke and I go, I think I was in Poughkeepsie, right? So the people in Poughkeepsie, I'm sorry. I go like this. I go, this is my final joke. And then the smallest bit of shit came out of my ass because my ass went, we made it to the end of the show. Like this, right? And I literally went like this. I was wearing a mask of my own face and I had sex with this girl. How weird was that? The joke still got a laugh. And then I ran off stage. I went, thank you, good night. And normally I stay and wave and lap it up for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, right? And I ran off the stage and Todd, our road manager, was like this, hey, good show, Jim. Why'd you leave it so? And I went, ah! And I went and just squirted all over the toilet. Now, the amount of shit that came out of my ass it didn't reach the pants because I had to do a meet and greet after that and I didn't have extra pants with me.
So you just freeballed?
No, it didn't reach the underwear. It just smeared along the crest. It was only the smallest bit. After I got there, but I saved the day.
You're trying to sell meet and greet tickets, and every time you tell a story, you basically say, I've pushed a hemorrhoid back in before I shake your hand.
I always wash my hand. I wash my hand.
We've got to cut these out of the pod. We've got to cut these.
I push hemorrhoids back into my body. Yeah, of course I do.
I just don't think Dua Lipa is doing this before or after her concerts.
She is.
We don't know.
She is if she's a fun girl. I'll tell you, half the porn stars are doing it. That's why porn stars have always liked me because we can talk about our prolapsed assholes.
All right, let's see your next segue. What else? I love your segues more than anything.
I don't know what the next topic is.
No. All right, well, let's
I had to go from special to my father.
But you agree with what I'm saying now when I said men often do actually have more respect and love for women because we are willing to give them luxuries that we ourselves would live such stoic and meager.
Oh no, you didn't. That's why. Okay, one more thing about the thing. I fart in front of my wife, but I don't let her fart in front of me, and that is a complete double standard, and it's completely terrible. And not that I don't let her; she doesn't want to fart in front of me, and she asked if it would be a turn off, and I said I wouldn't like it. I don't want to see women that just crack farts. Yeah. I've had a girlfriend that cracked farts, and my mother was a fart. My mother would just lay in a lazy boy chair, just letting it rip, just.
Yeah. But it's all about standards. Women will continue to fuck you no matter if you're gross. Men won't fuck women if they're gross. So if women just stopped fucking us, then we would actually behave more. They're like, you're so cute and gross.
I said to my wife on our second or third date when we were starting to get really into each other, right? I said, look, I farted in front of her, and I said, this is just who I am. It's good that you know it now. I'm going to fart in front of you constantly. But here's the deal. You let me fart in front of you, and you will never pay for food in my company ever again. Fart tax. I'll keep you fed. There's no better offer than that. I'll keep you fed. And to this day, I rip one out, and my wife goes, fart tax, and
she fist bumps.
Fist bumps. Yeah, no problem.
At a restaurant? Or?
I've kept my promise. I've kept that woman fed. She's gone to fine restaurants. There's never not food in the house.
To be honest.
She can go to Whole Foods with a credit card and buy as much food. She goes to fucking Air One and buys food. I don't complain. Fart tax.
I'll try and do a segue now. You ready?
Yeah.
Speaking of the arse, Joe Biden has prostate cancer. How was that?
Poor Joe. Look, the thing about Joe Biden having prostate cancer is prostate cancer is meant to be a very painful version of cancer, and it doesn't get enough charity money because no one wants to buy a brown ribbon with red spots on it. But the thing is, how dare the Democrats ever make him run for president? They knew this before the bloody election. What was their game? Was the Democrats' game, we get Biden in, he wins the election, he dies, we get Kamala.
Yeah, that was probably the way they thought. The only way to get a female president is we need an old white guy to die.
I think that's what happened because they fucking knew. The Democrats let us down.
It depends on who knew, but certainly internal people knew. You can't have this cancer just pop up now. And it's very interesting that it comes out the same time that they're releasing that book by Jake Tapper about the dementia cover-up.
So
now we've got a cover-up of the prostate cancer.
Jake Tapper can go fuck himself as well because he's like, oh no, he would have been in a wheelchair and we all knew this. Then why didn't you say something, mate?
Yeah. Same as George Clooney, who's now on Broadway doing a show about the importance of speaking truth to power. You held a benefit for the guy. You knew at the time when you had the benefit with him that he was not cognitive or mentally and physically fit to be the president. You said nothing until it came after the debate where you knew he was going to lose. Everyone could have called it out when they saw it, and you can have a go at all these MAGA people and right-wing people. They saw with their fucking eyes the man was sick.
But there was nothing to call out. You didn't have to tell anybody. He's just not running.
Yes.
His private life is his private life. He is not running for another term. He is so happy that he got to be the president for 4 years. He's not running for a term. He wants to spend time with his family.
Okay, here's the thing I'll never forget is when Joe was, and we talk about this all the time as traveling comedians, how fucking tired we are from doing a performance and then having to jump on a plane and go over. And could you imagine to be at that age, you have cancer, you have mental impairment, and you have to make all these decisions through the middle of the night and travel around the world. It's simply
You know what happens
every time? You're not able to do it.
Every time you're on a plane, your body swells up. Parts of your body swells up. Your watch gets, your rings get tight.
Imagine
Everything
that
gets
prostate.
tight. I'm being serious. My hemorrhoids get worse on planes, right? Things swell up. And you're putting a man in his fucking 80s on a plane every fucking day.
And what I'll never get is, obviously his internal circle knew this was going on. There was all these reports. Remember about medical emergencies and planes turning
we
around.
saw the doctors show up and they said, it's because of his brain. It wasn't. It was because of his arsehole.
And one thing that I thought about a lot over the weekend, I
feel really sorry for him.
Of course, I was at a wedding in Annapolis. I was at the Naval Academy. One of my girlfriend's cousins got married, and everyone there was like in the Navy, Naval SEALs people, and
the Navy.
You know the one topic that dominated
Imagine the amount of bumming in the showers at that wedding.
They all did talk about the YMCA thing. Yeah. We played in the Navy a lot. A lot of people I noticed who were chatting about this were like, "How did the wife? If your wife cares for you, you know." Wouldn't she? Most wives are always trying to get their husbands to do less.
My wife wants me to do less work.
Okay.
My wife worries about... That's one of the things that I'll say was magical about being married. I legitimately have someone who is worried about my health all the time. I get angry about it. She asks me to eat different foods and all that type of stuff. But I truly believe being married to my wife and having kids will mean that I'm going to live 15 to 20 years longer than I was, because I would have kept my drinking, I would have kept my drug use, I would have kept my smoking, I would have kept all those things if not for my kids. Something happens when you have children. The first thing that happens is your brain says, and you've heard people say this before, your brain says it's not okay to die, right? It's not okay for me to... No one would miss you. You'd be fine. No. You could die at any stage.
No, and my girlfriend's life would probably go up.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Clean sheets.
She would have clean sheets all the time. And she'd be able to shit regularly. She'd live longer. She would live longer. She would live longer.
Her colon would be less impacted, that's for sure.
But when you have children, the first thing is you try to get your health together. And then when you marry someone, especially when you marry someone younger, which I did, because I constantly remind my wife that she'll be alone for a long time, right? She's 13 years younger than me. And she's healthier than me. She's at least got 20 years to herself, right? If anything's fair in this world, right? She's got 20 years to herself. So, and honey, if you're listening to the podcast, I don't want you to remarry. Whatever people tell you, he'd want you to be happy. No, I don't. No, just mourn me constantly, all the time.
What if it's me in the wings?
You could give her one. But she doesn't change her sheets as much as your one. You wouldn't be used to it. You think she's a pig, my wife. Once a week.
Could you imagine
if
your widow, if I moved in here, how many people would be like, fuck, he played a long game, this sicko?
I have things in the will that you'll get nothing. I have it all in place.
Yeah?
I have it all in place.
I'm looking at that watch. Okay, I want to play a Jill Biden clip that I'll never forget. When he was terrible in that debate.
I might put the pinball machine. I got a new pinball machine coming from Stern Pinball. Gary Stern came to my special, the maker of pinball. I made a pinball suggestion for him as well for a machine, which I'll tell you afterwards, that I think they might make. I've discovered something good.
Let me play you this Jill Biden clip after his disastrous debate. And it was very clear that, like, obviously the yearning for power is strong, and when you're there, you don't want to get away with it.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave it.
Power must be intoxicating. It must be what no one wants to give it up.
Okay, listen to remember this moment when she was talking about his debate performance.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lie!
whenever I watch that clip, and now that you know that he's suffering prostate cancer and he's
got a bit of dementia
decline, and he's looking baffled after he's just had this humiliating debate performance, and his wife has the microphone at this event, clearly pushing the campaign along. She's been told he needs to step down. It's better for the country. It's better for the Democratic Party. And she was constantly like, no, he's fit. He's able, because that maintains her status as the First Lady of the United States. And you watch that there. She talks like a fucking preschool teacher. And he's a toddler who did good.
The answers.
You did great.
And you did. Here's a gold star. Come on, everybody.
Like, wouldn't you think if you love, like, and I'm not saying she doesn't love her husband, but as we said, the thirst for power, most people, you'd say, honey, you've had an amazing career. You've been a public servant for most of your life. You've reached the presidency, but it's better for your health, for our family, for the country, if you pass the baton on. That's not what that looks like when you know this. And I think of like my mother-in-law, her husband he's not the healthiest dude, and he travels a lot for work, and he's a CEO of a company. And
he's doing a bit better.
And he's doing better now. This is the thing, because his wife is like, you need to do less because you need to be alive. Your health and family comes first. And I just like look at this, and I look at Bernie Sanders, who just went on the Andrew Schultz podcast and has made some big headlines where he said that, you know, basically the Democratic Party has stolen from their own voters the ability for people to have a say on who they think should represent them.
No, Trump didn't win the election. The Democrats fucking lost it. I'm telling you, he did win. I'm not taking it away from him. He did win the election, but you know what I mean. The Democrats couldn't have fucked that election up more. They couldn't have done a more botched job.
Well, yeah, basically since that first Bernie campaign where Hillary was installed, and then ever since then, it's kind of been this out of control train where they're afraid of telling the truth because their biggest fear is that Donald Trump gets in, which makes them act crazy, which means the media starts to lie and cover up, because to them they go, the ends justifies the means because we think Trump is so bad. But that has made them into monsters that no one likes. The media has never been less trusted. The Democratic Party now is like covering these things up. Some people are calling it not Watergate, but Prostgate. That this is going to be the big cover-up of our time.
Can't pass Watergate. There's your clip.
Here's so listen. I think this is going to be an interesting thing, because now they're going to all say, "Don't speak ill of a man who's dying," and that will be the way that they move
I'm not
on
speaking.
from this.
I feel sorry for Joe Biden. I feel like he was a puppet who was pushed into the situation. Although that's how he's going to be remembered. He's going to be remembered as an old bastard who just didn't want to give up power. And he was a great public servant, right? Whether you agreed with him or not, he dedicated his life to public service. He had tragedy throughout his life. He had a child and a wife die in a car accident. You know, I have a lot of empathy for this man, right? And I think as a vice president, I think he did a great job, right? But here we are. You're too old.
I wonder. Because they're saying it's like something level 9. It's into the bones. He very well could be dead by the summer.
He had cancer. Probably he's known for over a year. I think he's known for over a year.
Yeah, who knows? I guess we're not doctors. We don't know.
Well,
but his doctor's going to be in some big fucking trouble, because that guy kept saying clean bill of health.
How dare they say we should vote for a dying man, and then we would have been given a president that we didn't vote for. It's fucking bullshit, man. It's bullshit. And the Democrats have got a lot of cleaning up to do, and they all have to speak out against this. Anyone who knows something has to say something now.
And everyone's covering for their own fucking ass, like Jake Tapper's writing a book, and then he's just going to cash in on it.
Well, mind you, most people in the Democratic Party probably would have heard rumors and whispers, but it's not like Biden went up to him and went, that's my RFK.
maybe he was like, he'd do those speeches because he used to shuffle. Remember they used to say he shat himself because he'd shuffle off?
Yeah.
He's got a big fucking pain in his ass.
The fact that I remember watching that debate, looking at those two old men talking to each other, going, give them an ad break so the cunts can sit down. Like when they go, we're off to an ad, they must have both sprinted to the toilet. Yeah. Sprinted. Or I reckon without a shadow of a doubt.
Trump didn't even take a piss on 3 hours of Rogan.
I reckon, without a shadow of a doubt, I reckon that Biden was wearing a diaper during those debates. And rightfully so, at that age.
Yeah, I've got no issues with
that. Like, I fucking evidently need one to do stand-up now.
This is something that's gone viral. This is some years ago, Joe Biden, they called it a gaffe at the time. This is in 2022 or 2023. Not sure exactly when, but
Yeah, but I stutter on words and mess up words. If it's one of these things where you just said the wrong word.
No, when you look at it now, you go, oh, I think he kind of admitted he had cancer. Listen to this.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't, for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation. And
Okay, so after that, they said he didn't mean he has cancer. He misspoke. He just meant to say why so many people he knew had cancer. And now you look back and think maybe he just... I don't know.
Look, if I had cancer, like how good can being the president be? There's so much TV to watch. I would just be laying in bed relaxing.
Let me ask you.
I tell you what.
So my favourite person was Norm Macdonald in comedy, and he died, and no one knew he had cancer.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I knew Norm,
would you be like Norm?
He never made a comment about it.
Do you think you'd be like Norm, or do you think you would tell fucking everyone about it?
I tell everyone. My whole life I tell everyone my problems. That's my whole thing. I had a mother growing up. Here we go. It always comes back to it.
Yeah.
I had a mother growing up who if you asked her, hey, Carolyn, how are you doing? She would tell you her ailments. My mother could not go, I'm good, thanks, how are you? She didn't have it in her. And I find myself doing that all the fucking time. People go, hey, what's up? Not good. My father-in-law just died and I had a hemorrhoid pop out on stage and I've shit myself. That's why this podcasting is good for, right? I have that issue as well. It's something I really dislike about myself. Here we go. Talking about myself.
Lay down on the couch. Come on.
I really dislike this about myself. I wish I could be a person that just went, I'm fine, thanks. How are you? And that's what you're meant to bloody do. Right?
Well, I don't know. Then again, the male suicide epidemic is so high that everyone's saying the opposite. So maybe you are in the right position where you're meant to share.
That's why men become trans, because they're suicide. Because it's so stressful being a man. I'll give being a woman
I'm trying to put that down. Okay. So you're saying if you share your feelings too much, you become trans?
No, I'm just saying.
Because you're like, I want to share my feelings, but I'm a man. So I'm going to say I'm a woman, so this is socially acceptable.
Exactly.
So the transgenders are actually suicidal men that just want to be able to get things off their chest.
Get things on their chest.
To get them off later, yeah.
Get them off later when they regret it. Anyway, but is there any more showing of your feelings than becoming trans?
Yeah.
I like.
Well, it is. It's the manifestation of the female feelings to be made into the physical.
Exactly. Exactly. And females commit suicide way less than men.
Yeah. Trans people, I think, have a high suicide rate. That's where this starts to collapse.
Look, I tell you,
no one said it was a real point.
I tell you what, if I could win a fight by crying and someone would give me a house, I wouldn't commit suicide either.
Right, speed round before we get out of here. Here's some big things that are happening at this moment. Also, Japan's prime minister said his country's financial situation is worse than Greece, and people are saying that Japan could financially collapse like our Greek friends.
But the tourism is so up in Japan.
Yeah, but they've had no interest rates now for something like 20 years.
Well, they got to fix that. But Japan is as hot a country in the world to visit as anywhere on earth.
And then I think the tariff situation has certainly not helped them either.
Because they make a lot of electronics. And, those Pokemon cards don't come free. I assume they're from Japan.
Yeah, and Pokemon's dipped down. Ever since, what was it? Pokemon Snap? What was that fucking thing?
Pokemon is actually the name for my Jamaican gay club.
Pokemon.
What do you think? Jack?
I think it's good.
No, the only thing that bit missed was you looking at the camera going, "Clip it."
I had another gay nightclub the other day.
Yeah.
What was the gay nightclub I had the other day? I was in some country.
All this fucking guy does is go, "Here's a gay nightclub." If you want to own a gay nightclub, you have money. Open one.
No, I get the names. I'm good with the names.
The Perth Bears.
I'm good with the names. I was in some.
Bear with me.
Bear with me. Bear with me for couples. That's a good gay aiding app.
Bear with me.
Bear with me. Just the new grinder, but for bears.
Yeah, you get into the club, but you got to bring a bear with you.
Yeah, bear with me.
Okay, another story. Annie Knight, an Australian version of Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, broke the Australian record the other day with 583 men
give
in
me
a
a look
day.
at her. Give me a look
now,
at her.
here's what upsets me is she is just got engaged to James Brayshaw, the football commentator, one of my favourite people's sons. And I'm thinking, mate, here's the weirdest part about this.
What?
Yeah.
Like
JB, your son's getting married to a chick who's rooted over 1,000 men this year, 583 in a day, and they said, how'd your boyfriend feel about it, or your fiance? And she said, he was great. He's a fly-in, fly-out worker, so he couldn't be there to support me on the day, but he sent me the well wishes in the morning. So let's play this out.
okay.
You've got up to go work in a fucking pit, a coal pit.
Imagine how many times your girlfriend would have had to change the sheets that day. If she's doing it when her feet are messy.
Yeah, to be fair to
She
my
had to
girlfriend,
change the sheet 500, 600 times.
I don't even think she changed it once. But if we can just you talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to find.
Give me a picture of her. Show me a picture. I'll tell you whether she's.
Here she is. So she put a pink bandana. What's that called again? Ski mask.
Balaclava.
Balaclava.
Ski mask.
Balaclava
Balaclava
is
is the word.
Okay, so she advertised for 200 guys to come. 583 dudes turned up. That's her there.
She's very pretty.
Yeah, she's from the Gold Coast. She did 583. But for me, it's the cuckery of the boyfriend who's at his office or in his mine site. And you're
The
like,
guy's only
my
got
girlfriend-
30 seconds to a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. Must have been young
They
men.
lined up in there.
Must have been young men.
Well, if we can just...
Is there a fluffer that helps you out?
Could
So
you
just finish
Could you
at
just
the end?
pause for a sec, Jack? I just want to bring this up. Because
We've got
it might
5
take me-
minutes. I gotta go.
I just got to find... I really want to find this thing because
Also, you're doing 500 something. Bonnie Blue's doing 1,057. Why are you even bothering at this stage?
Because, she's doing it for Australia.
No,
a
it's-
smaller country.
It's OnlyFans. It's how much you're going to make that day. She must have made it. Definitely made $1 million that day, right?
Yeah, and so that's what a lot of people are saying. Are like, well, the boyfriend doesn't care because his missus is making millions of dollars. Here we go. Here's play. Oh, I've got to fucking sign into everything. Nothing in this life.
She's
is
very
easy.
pretty. She's a very good looking girl.
You think so?
I think
That's
so. I
not
think
for
she's
me.
much better looking than that Bonnie Blue. She's top tier girl. Back in the day, she'd be a top porn star when they used to make porn.
There's something about Aussie ones that just doesn't seem right.
Because you don't like the voice. Oh yeah, come on.
Oh,
come
he
on.
fucking me box
Finish
got
off.
stuffed.
Finish off on me. Put the goo on the face. Come on, let's go.
Oh,
Let's
fucking hell.
go. Let's go. Oh, that's in me eye. You're cheeky.
Okay. So, first of all, these blokes here, 583 of them, most of the time is just spent in a waiting room chatting to a group of lads who have come across the country.
Mate, for most of those guys,
You're in
she
the
is
car
so
park.
far out of their limit. It's unbelievable. But 30 seconds is 30 seconds. Like, fucking hell, I got to wait there for my 30 seconds. Just buy a prostitute for an hour, mate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, 30 seconds with this woman.
Let me ask you that way. Could you be like young Henry Brayshaw and your first wife, who you're about to marry, you're both in your late 20s, could you marry this chick knowing that when you're off to the office, she's got 583 blokes?
I you know what? That would be mentally easier for me to handle than the wife having an emotional affair. I know that sounds a bit weird.
I agree.
Because or if it was just one bloke that she had for a couple of hours that she could have bonded with. Because now it's like, but I wouldn't because you fucking, I don't know, how much HPV are you coming back with? They'd make a new strain. This is how COVID was made.
It's the super gonorrhea. I couldn't. Listen, I remember, maybe that's the male ego. I remember I was playing football once and I'd been dating this girl for about 2 months.
As I've gotten older, I've gotten less concerned about sex, about someone else. Oh, you kiss
Ownership,
someone.
yeah.
It's more. I'd be more upset about emotional pull. I'd be more upset if my wife was texting a guy and all that type of stuff rather than
I took this mark. I'm like 18, right? And I'm lining up for a goal. And so when you line up for goal in football, all the opposition players are trying to taunt you as you walk into kick.
Sure.
Right? I'll never forget this dude. He's like walking
Chewy
past
on your
me.
boot.
He goes, oi, oi, oi. I go, and I look and he goes, do you date? I'm not going to say her name. He goes, yeah. Jono fucked her in the ass.
Oh,
She loves it. She got fucked in the ass by Jono. A few of us have run through her. And I kicked the goal. And I remember being like, this is
That
where you
actually helped you focus.
you start a fight. And instead of getting angry at the dude, I ran past him and I go, fuck, how'd you get her to do that? I can't get anywhere near that. You give us a tip. And they all laughed. And then after the game, they were like, he's a good bloke. He's a funny bloke. But then I remember sitting there thinking, God, I'm a bitch. Like, isn't that when you start punching on? Some guy saying he fucked your missus in the ass.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I kicked the goal. Doesn't bother me. Maybe deep down I knew this isn't going to be my wife. I'm just dating someone here. But if I couldn't handle that, if that upset me, the idea of 583 guys running through my wife.
Well, I'm going to finish the podcast here. There's a reason your girlfriend changed the sheet so much.
I found the fucking person. Don't do that to me.
Why do you think she's always washing? She comes home, she's always clean.
Okay, here we go.
So Abby, yeah, great day. Anyone out there want a great experience? Get on down. She'll look after you, no problem. Oh, legend.
Sounds like a happy customer.
Oh, mate, who couldn't be happy? He's a legend, mate.
That is great.
She looks after
How
you.
did Flubber perform, Annie?
Great.
Yeah?
Amazing.
You said that. I'll slip you a few more dollars after.
Time wasn't great, but the time
Oh,
itself
no,
was
about
good.
the time.
It's about the quality, not
That's
the
right.
quantity.
Yeah.
That's it. No, fantastic.
good.
Every bloke should get on down.
Come on down.
Give her a go.
You know what? What's fun about that? She seems like a nice girl and he seems like a good bloke. And he was number 510.
Imagine if you're scrolling through Instagram and you see your dad sitting there with a 24-year-old porn star, and your dad's like this. Yeah, it's fucking. Good route.
If my dad knew this was an option, he would have been. We have to check where Gary was on that day. If I call my dad this week, he goes, "Just got back from the Gold Coast. How are you?"
You go, what are you doing over there? He's like, I'm just washing my pink balaclava. Got a bit of goo on it.
You might want to give it to Daisy. It's a girl's one.
All right, you want to see? Here's the.
Let them in.
All right, here we go.
I'm getting railed by 500 plus people today, and I'm going to vlog the whole thing. This is my little before fit. This is what I look like before. I'm going to take Billy for a quick little WALK around the block, and then I'm out of here.
Why are you spelling walk?
Okay, taking Bill for a walk because I'm leaving him at home by himself for 10 hours. We're here.
And I'll get my photos.
Yes!
On there.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. So I've got like 12 staff members here helping me out. Between 200 to 600.
When Lily Phillips did a challenge like this, she cried because she couldn't make all the men finish.
Hey guys, come in. You'll sign in here.
Thank you.
And then I'll see you back there. Oh my god, it was like, what the? I was like,
Fucking hell, world.
This is hookup culture taken to the end.
you know where to come.
And yeah.
All right.
How would you feel if? How would you feel if your son is 18?
Yeah.
Hank's 18,
Yeah.
and you go, my son went to a 550 person fucking gangbang.
I'd be more concerned if I found a pink balaclava in his closet. I'd be like, oh, what's all this about?
Yeah, you know what he'd be if he's wearing a pink balaclava. He's holding up a gay bar. Bear with me.
Yeah. He's holding up the Perth Bears, and that'll wrap it up.
All right, well,
Ladies and gentlemen.
that's what's happening at this moment. Good night, Australia. Good night.